You coming to Poland, and what would be the first, like demands? And if you're asking what the Ukraine needs, first of all,
I think that we have to ask Poland to continue their support of Ukraine in the area of security and stability. We would like to get support from Poland in our European Union aspirations, and we would like to pass the Polish experience in reforms, particularly in local government reform and economic reforms, to Ukraine.
There is a lot of not doubts, but when the Western partners think about given the money, they always concerned about how this money would be used, and would it be efficient use of that? What you are telling to your partners?
I think that there are two arguments why they can give money to Ukraine now. First of all, they will trust, or they already trust, that the Ukrainian government was and the Ukrainian parliament was elected in the democratic way, and that we are fighting with the corruption. Hopefully all the laws that were passed recently in the parliament will be an extra argument. And secondly, I think that they, due to the quite intensive dialogue and quite intensive contacts, they can send their experts who would be also foreseeing the use of this money.
There is still some criticism about that, for instance, all the EU integration process, and they are somehow not going fast enough from the Ukrainian side.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. So that the EU integration is rather slow development than the fast development. And we, I think, are under the impression that EU integration can be achieved as the revolution move. However, it's quite a long process, and we have to be prepared for a long way rather than a short way.
Would there be some change after the parliament elections because that's always elections are posed before something is done and some aid is delivered? You
mean the change of the government?
Of the government policies?
It's up to Ukrainian people to whom they will elect, and it's depending what political parties will be represented in the parliament after the elections. However, I think that if the Ukrainian people want to support the existing EU integration or existing reforms, movements or existing mood for reforms, they should keep these political forces. Yeah.
And the last one, why the EU and Poland, London, Paris, or DC should care? I mean, if there is an internal Ukrainian crisis, as it's often seen.
Yeah. If you are talking about the political crisis in Ukraine, it should be Ukrainian internal politics, of course. But if you are talking about the security, they should care about the situation in Ukraine, because this might have effect on their security. And the recent Ukrainian-Russian conflict has shown that without joint efforts would be impossible to confront with the aggression. All the structures, international structures, were not able to protect Ukraine, and only the existing structures, I mean, international institutions like OSCE or UN or Council of Europe, were not able to protect Ukraine. What really helps is the new methods of fighting with the aggression, is like sanctions.
And is Moscow ready for dialogue at this position? Do you think what has changed after this so-called ceasefire, which is not always ceasefire?
I think that the sanctions started to work, and they feel the effect of the sanctions. That's why they agreed to meet in Minsk. They agreed to sign some memorandum, and they agreed for the meeting in Milano.